Hello, our friends. Tonight, we are back with segment 14. We have missed you. We had planned on bullying, but because Jon is such a bully, I decided to teach him a lesson and change the topic.
Wait. You just said we were gonna. You didn't even say. You didn't properly explain that. The topic was going to be bullying, but you pulled a bait and switch 24 hours ago and changed the topic, which left me completely unprepared.
Right.
Yeah. Let's just be clear about that.
But Jon says he never has to prepare for anything because he's innately intelligent and smart. He is a walking, talking Google, encyclopedia, and dictionary. So we're not going to have any problems tonight.
Well, you did sum that up pretty well.
The TikTok topic is so popular now. I decided, with Jon's consent, that we should discuss TikTok and the government's plan, or some people in government's plan, to ban it.
Okay, are you done? Can I turn this into a real podcast now without that drawn-out, boring introduction?
Yes.
If I was turned on that podcast and that's what I started to hear, I would have shut it off right away.
I know, but I knew you'd rescue me because you're the savior.
God,
so
please.
Thank you for saving.
Okay, so again, let me clarify. We had a whole podcast prepared on bullying. Jennylyn claims that she has a lot to say on that matter, probably because she spent a lot of time in a locker, stuffed in a locker in elementary school or something, so she knows all about bullying. And then she decided, we got into this raging debate about TikTok, and then all of a sudden she goes, wait, let's save that for a podcast. Let's change the topic tomorrow to TikTok, after you already heard all of my arguments and had time to prepare rebuttals to everything. It was almost like you tried to pull my information out as an espionage act, which leads in very well to the topic of TikTok, and then tried to prepare your rebuttals after you had all of my arguments and gripes and grievances about TikTok. So very smart of you. And now, yes, you're right, I am completely unprepared. And now we're just going to get into this and talk about the pros and cons to the Chinese spyware known as TikTok. But I would like to say one thing before we start. And I used to always ask you if you mind. Now I don't actually give a shit if you mind, because we had such a big fight before this podcast started that I'm so fired up and angry that I'm going to just trample all over you. And that's the way that's going to go.
When don't you, is my question.
See, we should be talking about bullying. But no, you want to talk about TikTok. I first want to talk about something I'm enraged about before we get into TikTok.
When aren't you enraged?
Every podcast should just be the ranting and raving, because I have so many problems with life and things that go on. So the other day, I'm in Dunkin' Donuts. California. You have Dunkin' Donuts in California?
Yes, we do.
Oh, I thought it's not on the West Coast.
We have Dunkin' Donuts in California.
I thought it wasn't on the West Coast. Okay, guess I was wrong. Sorry. Okay, anyway, so I'm online and I'm next, and I'm, this person in front of me's done. This kid, like maybe he's 17, 18 years old, behind the register. And we're talking, well, what do you want? I said, oh, okay, I'll get the egg sandwich with the cheese, whatever. And like, he could not get the order right. Everything he repeated back to me was wrong. I was just getting really annoyed about it. So anyway, long story short, rings up the order, and he looks at me. Didn't have to say a word, but this kid knew how to infuriate me by pressing a button. Now, normally, when I order something at a store and he presses a button and you get a discount, that's right up my alley. So he presses the button, gives me the discount, no problem. And I'm like, okay, great. Got my discount. Didn't even ask for it. Get the receipt. I look at the receipt. It was a senior discount. Now, I don't know, for our listeners around the world, in other countries, in the United States, a senior citizen starts at 62. I am 50, turning 51, and I have been told that I look much younger than my chronological age, including by you today, who told me. I'm not going to relate that whole story, but and this fucking guy didn't have to mention one word or utter a sound. All he had to do was press a button, and he pushed my buttons and set me off all day into this depression that I just snapped out of maybe like this morning. And today's already Thursday. all because of the senior discount showing up on my receipt.
Is it that time of the month for you?
You're just used to that because you always get the senior discount. Did you hear what I said?
Today,
You're just used to that because you always get the senior discount.
Republican proud. So if I did, I would be proud. I'm not so sensitive and insecure.
But I'm not of age.
Anyway, we're gonna stick to the topic that we've decided on tonight, John.
Okay, fine.
And I hope someone listening is feeling so sorry for you because someone thought you were a senior.
So upset.
Jesus.
So upset. My ego is very fragile.
Anyway, today the Republican Senator Rand Paul blocked Republican Josh Hawley, U.S. Senator, Stanford educated, because he is one of the people.
Josh Hawley's great.
I know, but he's
very smart.
Yes, of course. He went to Stanford, right in my backyard. But the point is,
Stanford's not in Guyana.
I lived in San Francisco way longer than I lived in Guyana.
Isn't Stanford in Connecticut?
Stanford University, John. Jeez.
I went to Queens College. I don't know anything about good schools.
Jesus, could I please make the
Stop
point?
bringing up Jesus. It's a sore topic between our religions. I'm not talking about Jesus.
That's my God.
It's Passover also.
Anyway, can I just make the point?
And he was a rabbi.
I'm trying to hear the point then.
Whatever. Go ahead.
So today, Republican Rand Paul blocked him from trying to get TikTok banned. And his argument...
That's wrong already, by the way. He blocked him from expediting it. But go ahead.
Right. But his argument is he wants to pass a bill which would send a message to communist China that they cannot buy us. Okay? This is his reason for wanting to have it removed, because he thinks, and here's my problem with all of this. A lot of these people who want to get rid of TikTok, I'm not sure if they use it. But do you realize that some people earn their livelihood on TikTok?
Do you realize there's a lot of people that earn their livelihood selling illegal drugs also? Just because people earn their livelihood doing something doesn't mean it shouldn't be that shouldn't be banned.
Something honest. I enjoy TikTok. Okay,
people enjoy doing cocaine. Okay.
Okay. Can I just finish making my point and then you can rebut from now until next year?
We only have 45 minutes. Right?
Okay. So Rand Paul's argument is trying to ban TikTok. In trying to ban TikTok, you would violate the Constitution and anger millions of voters who use it. And I'm in agreement with this because...
That's funny. So all of the leftists that hate Rand Paul, all of a sudden now they love him because of that?
You know, people don't look at the world the way you do.
That's a shame.
You just decide you hate a person because they have one policy you don't like, and you're supposed to hate them to death and not recognize...
That's what the leftists do. They despise and hate conservatives.
You know all of them? You live in all of their homes? You know all of their hearts?
Most.
You make such blanket statements that are so freaking ignorant they irritate me.
Stop staring at me in that creepy way.
Because I'm trying to understand.
You'll never understand. You'll never understand. We come from different worlds, different backgrounds. You're never going to understand a logical and sensible person.
The only honest thing you've said since I've seen you this evening.
Did you hear the rest of what I said? I said you'll never understand a logical, intelligent individual.
We are supposed to have free speech in America.
Enough with the nonsense. Let's get into the facts. Okay. So let me ask you a question. So TikTok, and I am not a user of TikTok, but I'm not a user of TikTok for the reasons you're thinking, which is, again, you're thinking, oh, you're so not technologically savvy. You live under the rock. I know the whole speech of all the nonsense. Okay. Let me explain to you. Okay.
What I'm thinking.
Okay. Good thing you're not married to me. So now let's go back to.
You would never be that crazy.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So anyway, well, someone was for almost 30 years. Okay. So now TikTok is what I'm going to refer to, and what was referred to by one of our great senators as what's called the Trojan horse. Now you remember the story of the Trojan horse, right? In history.
I'm listening. Go ahead.
Do you know the story of the Trojan horse?
Yes, I do.
Okay. Why don't you tell us?
I am not here to tell a story of a Trojan
That's
horse.
because you don't know. Okay. So anyway, what TikTok was brilliantly created by the communist, and we always, when we say the Chinese government, we always have to insert the word communist Chinese government, because we can't lose sight. You know, communism used to be viewed as a bad thing. The Russians, the North Koreans, the Cubans, when the word communist was thrown in front of something, it was always referred to as bad. But for some reason, when we refer to communist China now, leftists get all upset when we insert the word communist. We can't be racist that way.
Leftist.
Yeah, people like you. So now what
I have never gotten upset. So if I represent the majority that you consider leftist, you're way off rail before you begin.
I'm off rail.
You're off rail.
You mean I'm off the rails?
You're off the rails.
So what the Chinese Communist government did is they developed this brilliant app to basically get people addicted to the entertainment of the app.
Are you sure the Chinese government?
So that nothing happens in China without the Chinese government's backing.
But they're here.
They're where?
The TikTok that we are using here in the US
was developed in China.
Yes.
Okay. So
okay, keep going.
Yeah, because your point made no sense. Okay, so basically
all of my points make no sense.
And that's a problem, which is why I should probably give you a podcast partner.
I should just let you do the podcast by yourself. I should just introduce it and close it.
Okay, are you done?
No.
Go ahead. Keep talking. Anyway, can I finish this point? Because we have a topic.
Oh, so now you see how it feels when you can't finish your point?
Do you want to go back to bullying? Because this is bullying. You're bullying me right now. Okay, so this is why I have experience with bullying, because you're a bully. So I want to make one fucking point. Can I talk, please? This is relevant to the topic.
You're going to edit this show.
I'm not. There's nothing to edit other than your nonsense. The word you used 15 times before we hit the record button, referring to things about me. Okay.
But I respect my listeners.
Oh, okay. But you have no respect for me.
Right.
So anyway, in creating this spyware, what they did is they created something to get Americans on the app, get them addicted to the entertainment, and not have the American public realize the nefarious nature of what they are actually doing. The app, when installed on your phone, and yes, there are certain firewalls in the operating system, and I understand all that, but the purpose of this app is to sweep up and collect all the data that's on your phone, okay? And someone like you will say, well, I don't really care. Let someone see the data on my phone. Okay, well, if Facebook was doing that, or an American company was doing that, you would have a huge problem with it. But the Chinese government, data in this day and age today, data is like weapons. You can weaponize data. The app has the ability to collect your biometrics. It has the ability to read your text, to read your emails, see your contacts, to see all the texts you sent. Who in their right mind wants a foreign communist enemy of the United States accessing all the data that is going on their phone? Now, especially when it comes to government officials, military personnel. So what you think is funny videos, ha ha ha, look, this guy could stick a sword up his nose and it comes out his ass. Great. But you know what? There is evil embedded in TikTok to sweep up all the stuff to ultimately have this used against you and against the United States.
Okay, you said who in their mind? Well, let me tell you.
I said who in their right mind.
Let me tell you, 150 million Americans.
Schmucks.
Oh, yes, we're 150 million Americans, including congressmen and other people who use it, are stupid.
Yes, they're beyond stupid.
You're the only smart one.
Okay, so you know what? I have an idea. Why don't you give out your passcode on your phone to everyone that's listening, and send your phone to each individual person. Let them go through all of the information on your phone.
Different.
No, it's not. It's the same thing.
That's your point, okay? Now listen to me. I've come from Silicon Valley, where all the tech stuff happens, where the most brilliant minds in America create amazing things, okay? Some of them were on my TV show. I am telling you, it's true.
Okay.
The guy who invented the first flying car was on my show. The guy who...
How'd that flying car work? Because I haven't seen it.
They're still working on it. Oh. Well, go and watch the interview. Stop knocking shit you don't know.
You just want me to go onto your website.
I don't care if you go or you don't go.
Yes, you do.
I have the knowledge. I'm not just blowing hot air.
You're right. It's freezing.
So you're trying to change the subject?
No, go ahead. Just get to your point.
My point is you say that they know all of our information. Guess what? Facebook, an American company, was selling all our shit to the Russians, and that's okay.
I'm not on Facebook. I won't use that either.
Who cares which one you're on?
I'm not on any. I wouldn't do that.
You're pointing out a few things that you think are wrong with these apps, but have you ever thought of how they connect the world, people around the world?
I didn't say I didn't say there aren't positive aspects.
Are you right in TikTok's ass when we have companies in America that are willingly selling our stuff?
So first off, okay, I'm not saying that Facebook and Instagram and all these companies, the social media companies, are not sweeping up data also. But when it's an American company based in the United States and not giving that information, you're saying selling it to the Russians. I don't know if that's based on anything factual at all.
Okay.
What evidence do you have to back that up?
Because
there would have been a congressional hearing about that, and there wasn't. So I'm just going to assume that that's nonsense.
Okay. So
but my point.
Evidence to back up that TikTok is doing all of the above that you mentioned. Where is it?
Okay.
Because I watch their CEO being grilled by our congressman.
Yeah.
And they have no evidence.
Okay.
Just like they don't have the evidence.
That is not correct. But
okay.
let's go back to what you said before. I'm going to get to it. We're talking about the statement you just made before. My issue is when it's an American company sweeping up data for the purpose of targeted advertising and things like that.
That's what I said.
That's what, no. You said selling to the Russians. I'm not saying that that's correct or not correct. I'm saying I don't believe that to be correct. Oh. So what I am saying is that when an American company is doing the same thing TikTok is doing, but using it for American citizens and in the United States and not to a foreign communist government, I am more okay with that than I would be with a communist government sweeping up all that information. Well, domestic versus international communist country. If I had to pick one, I'm picking the American company to do that. We have to accept certain realities that we live in a new world where social media and data and things like that are important for companies to be able to sell things to the public, to be able to run their business, whatever. I accept that the world has changed. All I'm simply saying is if we can be using a domestic American company or multiple domestic American companies to do that instead of a foreign communist country's technology to do that, I think that's a lot smarter. Now, you look at Huawei also, the Chinese telecommunications company, which sells telecommunications equipment around the world. Well, it's been proven that in that technology, the telecommunications network tech gear is the ability for the communist government to spy on and to surveil the companies where their products are installed, which is why countries around the world are ripping out all the Huawei equipment and replacing it. So the Chinese are very smart. They're very crafty. They're very good at what they do. And unfortunately, most people are too stupid to realize that the wool is being pulled over their eyes and they're being undercut by an enemy.
Stupid people.
Yes. I'm trying to help you, to teach you that you're being stupid.
At your point, and I was silent. Now, would you shut the hell up so I could make mine, please?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. Listen to me. We live in a democratic country. These platforms are all available. The majority of Americans are on TikTok, right? Why? It's more user-friendly. It's easier to use. And I don't care what you say. Every single platform. When I was growing up, there was a saying, the wiser the government, the smarter the population. It doesn't matter the platform. It doesn't matter which country is making it or providing it. People who want to hack it will hack it. So I think instead of trying to pull something away from people that they are enjoying, it is their democratic right to choose which platforms they want to use. We are not living in communist countries.
No, but our data is being sent there.
We need to get our brains in America to focus on how to block the intervention from foreign countries on applications that are being utilized by Americans.
Why don't we just do what the Chinese do? Not allow it. You know, Google can't operate in China. Facebook can't operate in China.
China?
No.
I've been to China many times.
Okay. Can you go on Google?
Those are true.
Okay. So wait. Stop for a second. It doesn't matter. I'm making a point. The point that I'm making is...
If you have an IP address, you can access any, because I did it when I was there.
The official communist Chinese government will not allow American technology companies like Facebook and Google that they can't control to operate in their country. Oh, so that's okay? So we should allow their companies to function here, but they are allowed to not allow our companies to function there.
Can I ask you a question?
Sure.
Have you watched any of the interviews with the TikTok CEO?
I watched all the congressional hearings with him, yes.
And did you hear how he answered the questions that were asked about TikTok and about our
Did you hear when they said to him yes or no and asked him direct questions? He didn't answer yes or no and went into a topic where he skirted the actual question.
Because he said he didn't have the answers.
He's the CEO. He has to have the answers. The problem is if he gave the answers, the government, the congressional hearing would have been shut down and the app would have been banned that afternoon. He's not going to come out and say, well, of course we give the Chinese government has access to the data if they want it.
That they could set up bases here in the US, so it's not even so that we can monitor what's happening.
Yes, I did hear that they were willing to do that. I don't know if that necessarily addresses all the problems. Again, I'm not a tech expert.
But you believe, because like I said, I was living in Silicon Valley for 37 years. I was very involved in the tech world.
Right.
Okay. There was one guy who had his own company and he shut it down because his daughters had a friend who sent naked pictures to a guy. She was a child, and they broke up, and he posted her pictures everywhere, and she committed suicide. He shut his company down, and he came up with some software that if I posted a naked picture of someone that they gave me on social media, this company can remove the face. If you post something, you're the only one who has access to changing it. This software can go in and remove your head immediately.
Why do we have to play a game of cat and mouse with something that's a nefarious
You're missing my
platform?
Point. As always, John, you're so like dumb sometimes. Sorry. And you instigate me. Listen to me.
I'm listening.
What I'm trying to say is, since 150 million Americans are enjoying this, and some people are earning their livelihood on it, why don't we focus on blocking software? There's already some, spyware, or blocking their ability to hack our information. Why can't we focus on doing that?
Why do we have to do that when we could just block the app?
Join the app.
So use a different one. Use an American one.
Another one, everybody would be using it. We have Instagram.
Have you been on YouTube on the shorts? The YouTube Shorts is very similar to TikTok. It's video after video after video, short clips.
Very, very different.
Well, I enjoy YouTube.
You use TikTok?
No, but I've used YouTube Shorts.
Shut up.
Okay.
You could have at least checked it out for the show, you dummy.
I don't want it on my phone. I'll use your phone, being that's already infected. Okay, so we've established that
You don't even have an idea what happens.
We've concluded that TikTok is a massive surveillance network. Okay, so we both agree that it should be deleted.
Saying that I am.
You know what's ironic?
If that is true,
how often do you see the Democrats and the Republicans agreeing on a topic? The one topic they agree on is that TikTok should be banned. Don't you find that to be a little bit ironic?
But isn't it funny that it was a Republican that you worship that is blocking their ability to?
I worship Rand Paul.
You said that. You said
what?
You said you worship all Republicans.
Worship.
You told me
worship.
That.
I used the word worship.
And I was asking you. Remember when I asked
Rand
you
Paul?
Jewish Bible.
Yes, Rand Paul, by the way, has made very anti-Israel remarks in the past. So I'm not actually a fan of Rand Paul. I'm not particularly a fan of Rand Paul. But I have a feeling, by the way, I didn't listen to the full explanation of why Rand Paul was trying to block the acceleration of the TikTok ban. But I have a feeling if you watch Tucker Carlson the other day on Fox, which I sent you the clip, and you refused to watch because you're a leftist. So what happened? What he actually
hate them like you hate anybody that doesn't support your views.
Yeah.
How ignorant is that?
You support my views?
No.
I hate you too. Okay, I hate you too. You're on the hate list. Hold on, write your name on the hate list. How do you spell your last name again? Wait, which last name are you going by? You have a few last names. Which one are we doing?
If our concern is that American secrets are somehow going to get hacked by the Chinese, in December, a bill was passed to ban government officials from using TikTok.
Correct.
So, what's the problem?
Because it's not just government officials.
Interested in me. I have nothing exciting going on.
Why don't you tell me why they'd be interested?
I have no good reason.
Oh, you don't, huh? Maybe you do.
You must know something I don't. Do you know something about me that I don't know?
I don't want to know anything about you. No. So what I was talking about with Tucker Carlson, and anybody that wants to watch the clip, it was an interview that he did with who was it again? The senator? You remember? I forgot already.
The guy from today, the Stafford, Josh Hawley.
No. It was okay. I forgot who it was. Oh wait, it was I forgot. Okay, anyway, what he said was that unfortunately in the bill to ban TikTok, they put in a whole bunch of other clauses giving the government a tremendous amount of additional power to surveil and to prosecute and to censor and stuff like that. And that was part of the problem, that it can't just be a clean bill where we're just saying, okay, we're banning TikTok, period. It has to be built. It's like when in the government budget things where they put in a whole bunch of pork and bullshit and garbage, and they actually end up degrading what the budget is supposed to be and adding a whole bunch of things that should not be there. So I would like just a clean bill. Vote yes or no. Do you want to ban TikTok? Yes, no, nothing else. Just boil it down to that. And that would pass, I believe, in a heartbeat. And I do believe that it will pass. I think the problem that we have is that the Democrats are terrified that many of the users on TikTok are younger people, younger people tend to vote Democrat, and they're afraid that can cost them an election.
Or are we really trying to protect this democracy? Or are we trying to send a message to the Chinese government?
I think both.
So why are we playing political games that will screw with people's...
What's political?
Well, if you're banning something that the people of your country are enjoying...
It's not about enjoyment. Why are you confusing us? People enjoy using drugs, and 100,000 people a year die of fentanyl exposure.
It's not a fair comparison.
Of course it is. It's not about enjoying. It's about something that's dangerous to the well-being of the country.
Die from using TikTok. A person rich coming from someone who doesn't even know how it functions. Someone who's going to freaking hearsay that they hear from politicians.
It's not hearsay. It's not what happens on TikTok. It's the mechanism of TikTok and what it does.
Yeah, but the mechanisms like that. We have Facebook, we have Instagram. Don't get
right. Me. So use them. That's exactly, you just made the point.
No.
We have other mechanisms. Use the ones that are not from a communist government. Let me ask you a question. You know what the real problem? You know what the real problem is here? The United States desperately is reliant on China in terms of producing goods, in terms of us selling product. If North Korea came out with a TikTok type app that was doing the same thing that TikTok is doing, do you think the US government wouldn't ban that in 30 seconds?
I don't know.
What do you think? Let's take a guess.
No. I think...
You think it would be available on the App Store?
Would it be available
in the App Store, the North Korean TikTok version? Would it be available? Yes or no? Just tell me.
When you're finished, if I don't forget what I was going to try to say, because your annoying buzzing in my ears messing with my memory. But listen to me, John. We all buy cars. Nobody forces us to buy American cars. It's our democratic right to choose the car we want. So all these platforms are available. It's our democratic right to choose the platform. I happen to find it very easy to navigate and a lot easier to use than the other platforms. I am a media content producer for 12 years. I've been interacting with all these social media platforms, and I love TikTok. I've gone to China and I've used it.
Why don't you go back to China and stay there? How about that?
How about allowing me to make the point I was going to make? Can you help being rude?
No.
I know this. In China, they use it for almost everything.
I'm so happy you mentioned that too, because the content on TikTok in China is very different than the content on TikTok in the United States.
And you know what? That comes.
Do you know what it is? Do you know why?
I know. You don't use it.
No. There's no porn. There's nothing that's anti the government.
Either.
Really?
How are you speaking to something you've never used, John?
There's porn on TikTok.
Tell you.
Trust me, there's porn on TikTok.
Mr. Never used it. Listen to me, the user.
Go ahead.
What is different about TikTok in America is we post the content that's on there. They don't.
Of course not, because they're not stupid. They don't want to pollute their own society like we pollute and ruin ours.
You know, John, you're giving me a headache. And I need to finish the podcast. So you speak and I'll be quiet. You know everything and I'm just stupid. Although you never use TikTok.
When did I ever say you're stupid? You're very smart.
No.
Just sometimes you act stupid.
Ah.
It doesn't mean you are stupid.
You never act stupid.
Okay, what you said before, by the way, about cars. Do you know? Can you look at me when I'm talking to you? Do you know that when it comes to cars, I am so angry at the Japanese because the Japanese copied all of the American technology through the 70s and 80s and built up their own industry, much like the Chinese through espionage. I will never buy a Japanese car. From 17 years old through 50, almost 51, every single car I've owned has been an American car.
Are we talking about cars tonight? Or are we talking about?
No, you mentioned before something about cars and American.
It was just.
But look, I'm showing you the level of consistency. I only buy American cars. I've never purchased a foreign car. What are you, 5? You're covering your ears and you're closing your eyes, and that means you can't hear me? You heard me.
John, if I was in California, I would hear you.
Why don't you go back there and let's see if you hear me? Go.
If I go back there, it'd be because I don't want to hear you.
Go ahead, pack up and go.
So I know that you want to get off the TikTok topic because you never used it.
I can't be an expert on something I've never used.
Moron about it. And you watch Tucker Carlson and all these people on Fox, and you come here tonight with your
I like the way you say the word Fox. Say that again.
Anyway, this is what I have to say about this.
Is it interesting? If it's not interesting, don't say it. Okay, go ahead.
Is all the rah-rah, how much of the rah-rah-rah that's going on right now about banning TikTok, you think has to do with its success because it is kicking the competition's ass? How much of that you think is the reason why we really want to ban it? Because I can tell you every application can be hacked, not just TikTok. And a lot of them have been. And I think as a user, it is my responsibility to use it wisely.
You can't control them sweeping up your data.
There are many, many applications that show you how to prevent that happening.
Yeah, so you know what? TikTok should put that on their homepage, and they should insist that it's downloaded and not allow TikTok to be downloaded onto your phone until you've downloaded the other applications that don't allow TikTok to do those things. How about that? Is that a good idea? Then I have no problem with TikTok being available to the US phone. Okay, great. We solved the problem. Now, remember...
But as a media...
We solved it. We took care of the whole problem. They're going to put a disclaimer on that you must download this American app that prevents TikTok from sweeping up data as a firewall. And then once that's done, then you can download the TikTok app. It'll allow you to clearance to download it. We solved the whole problem. Now we don't have to ban it. So remember, like... What?
You know what I just learned about you tonight?
What?
You are a dictator.
Look at you covering your face like you know you just said something bad. Like a little girl that just had something really bad in front of her parents and now she's embarrassed about it. It's very cute. Remember on the prior podcast, I don't know if it was the prior one or the one before that, I talked to you about how Karen told me that I don't work there when I tried to save the Chobani yogurts in Target and rescue them and bring them to the refrigerator. Remember that? Do you remember that? Do you remember that?
How could I forget?
Am I talking to a wall? Answer when I talk to you. Do you remember?
All I see when I look at you now is a dick. So it's making it difficult for me to communicate.
It's making it difficult. Okay, so now I want to just share with you a real life experience that I had. Now I did tell you this off the air, but I want our listeners to know that I actually am a true hero. So I was joking around about how I sprinted into action and saved the Chobani yogurts in Target that were left unrefrigerated, and like a paramedic grabbed them and rescued them and got them to the fridge. Now in real life, I just had an experience, and I want to just share with you my heroics. So I have a very close friend of mine whose nephew and the nephew's brother were snowmobiling up in Canada and had a terrible snowmobile accident. I know you're bored because you heard this, but you know what? Everybody else that listens hasn't. So maybe show a little courtesy to other people.
So every time he does something, he has to rah-rah-rah about it. Please make
this is rah-rah-rah worthy. So anyway, long story short, one of the brothers was okay. The other one was in horrible condition and in a medically induced coma in Canada. And my friend reached out to me and said, hey, he's going to be cleared to leave the hospital, but we need a transport from Canada back to New York because he's supposed to have surgery on Thursday. So my friend texted me on Friday morning, do you know that on Sunday, the airlift was already going on and I was able to arrange bringing him back by air for free through a volunteer Jewish ambulance organization called HoW, which means that's a Hebrew word. In English means to save.
Hold. Please join me in a loud applause for Jon.
Anyway, so he was airlifted back. He had a 10-hour surgery on Thursday at Weill Cornell Medical Center in Manhattan. And we don't know what the results are going to be, but we're all praying for, I'm not going to say his names because it's, maybe a bit confidential, but we're all praying for his recovery. And in all honesty, all jokes aside, I was very proud that I was able to contribute to helping this family at their time of need when they really needed something seriously important medically. So I actually really did something good.
And can I say,
I'm not just good looks and talent and intelligence, but there's actually some substance to me as well.
And I'd like to say, Jon, that I really have a difficult time liking any part of you, but I do really applaud you in all seriousness for doing something like that.
Thank you very much. And I applaud, by the way, HoW is a volunteer organization supported by donors only. And if anybody would like to contribute to HoW, you can go onto their website, and it's a really worthy cause. I'm a donor as well. And it's a great organization that actually really does save lives.
And Jon, in the future, do not discuss and trash the dish if you haven't tasted it.
What are you referring to? HoW? I mean, TikTok?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
So if you're going to come on this show to discuss a topic, please at least go. I did a show or two on internet dating. And I went on some.
I'm an expert on that too.
I went on some internet dating sites to see what it was all about.
Did you find anyone?
I had couples propositioning me to join in their little threesomes.
Oh, that's weird.
It's some crazy crap going on there.
Did you do it?
The one thing I know I would
Did you do it?
I should throw you on the floor for even asking that question.
Why would you even
I should just throw you all the way down that hallway. Because I was trying to tell you that sometimes in order to really truly speak to something, you need to have an experience with it. Otherwise, you're going on hearsay, and you're good at that.
But I am. I'm not bad at that, but you're missing the point here. You stuffed this topic down my throat. I didn't select this topic. You made a unilateral decision. 1 week. We were talking about this yesterday.
No.
Yesterday.
Jon, I told you with all the TikTok buzz, the next podcast should be TikTok.
You said that yesterday. What are you talking about? So you want me? So what are we supposed to do? Spend the entire day instead of going to work on TikTok, learning everything that I can to prepare for this podcast?
There's not that much to learn, and you have a cousin who has thousands of followers on TikTok. Go look at him.
I see him every day. I don't need to see more of him. I see plenty. Thank you. Anyway, so back to the topic. My point is that I think that although I'm not a huge fan of government control, I do believe that in certain instances it's important for the government to step in order to ensure the safety and security of stupid people that don't necessarily realize that they're putting themselves
and
at
I
risk.
understand that you call 150 million Americans stupid.
It's a shame. I'm sorry that I have to say that.
You know what? How can they get smart like you?
My daughter's one of them. She's on TikTok. I think she's an idiot for doing it. I told her a million times. I would take your phone and burn it.
And you know what? She's probably a lot wiser than you because I have learned so much on TikTok.
No, you learned what the Chinese want you to learn.
No.
What'd you learn about transgender surgeries?
To learn.
What'd you learn about?
You can choose what you want to watch and what you don't want to watch. It's not, nobody's stuffing anything in your face. Some of the best prayers I know I got on TikTok. A lot of my spiritual teachers are on TikTok. So, you need to stop knocking things when you come.
I'm not saying it's not an educational tool. I'm saying what I'm saying is.
Friend,
No.
Okay. Because if you were, I would encourage you to crawl out from under the rock that's
The
in
bug.
the bubble
And then do what?
and learn that there's a whole wide world outside of your little bubble.
I don't need to learn that because I don't care. I am happy in my bubble. My bubble was self-created.
Well, it's a democratic country that we live in, and so you're comfortable in a bubble, but there are those of us who are interested in.
Well, guess what? You're not invited into my bubble.
I don't
want you in my bubble.
I don't want
Get out of my bubble.
don't want to be in there.
You're not invited in there.
Because I'm a free spirit with no judgments, and I'm open. And
We'll find out exactly what you are by contacting the Chinese government that has access to everything in your phone, and we'll find out everything. Oh yeah, let me see. Oh, open it up. Let's read. Let's read all your stuff. Come on, put in your passcode. Let me read all your stuff.
You want some Ranterton rice?
No, I want to read all the things you don't want me to read. If the Chinese government can read it, why can't I read it?
They're the juiciest ones on my phone.
With all your boyfriends or husbands or whatever you have. What do you have now? A boyfriend, a husband? What do you even have?
Both.
Are they one and the same?
No.
Both imaginary?
No.
Oh, they're real?
The more the merrier.
Well, then if it's the more the merrier, then I suggest you go back on that dating website and take those couples up on those offers. You were on there, you said. I
went on to see what I would be speaking to in the interview.
And what'd you learn from it? What'd you learn from it?
Oh, I learned that it's something I would never do. I learned that something to do with sex. They talk about 12 roses. It's payment for sex.
12 roses?
Yeah. I need to go back and watch the video. It's on my website. I did 2 shows on this. And the one thing I learned then is it's not for me. I'm not knocking it. I don't knock things just because I don't buy into them.
I knock the things all the time.
Women who found their husbands on one of those websites. I don't
see anything wrong with dating websites. What's the big deal? It's a modern way of dating. I think it's great.
So, but it's not for me, is what.
No, but it's able to connect people that would have connected in prior methods of dating. I think it's great. I think that I mean, it doesn't mean it can't be harmful in certain ways, but I think the pros outweigh the cons.
One things you need to learn to do is listen.
Are you on a dating? Which dating website were you on?
I would never go on a dating website. I don't
set up a profile.
I don't need. I had a profile when I had to go on there to check.
Is the profile still there?
I was on there for.
Did you delete the profile?
I was on there for 1 hour and I was mortified. I came off really fast.
Did you delete the profile?
Yes, I did. Why would I keep it?
Which dating site was
I was on a Jewish website. And I was on another one called Coffee Meets Bagel because they're all different.
Oh, that sounds so Jewish. Coffee meets bagel and lox.
And lots of fish.
Gefilte fish meets cholent. What?
I think one is called Lots of Fish.
No, plenty of. Because I've heard of plenty.
No, it is. It's
plenty of fish in the sea or something.
No, it's just called Plenty of Fish, I think. And then there was one more.
J-Date. You ever go on J-Date? That's the Jewish one.
Sorry, J-Date.
Yeah. Jews wouldn't be interested in you.
I know. But I just wanted to see. That's why I picked it.
You have no appeal to a Jew.
I know. But I just went on there to see what goes on.
Like, oh, look, an Asian Jew joined the website. Maybe that's why you're so defensive of TikTok.
Why?
Because you kind of have a little bit of a Chinese look to you.
All right.
Anyway, are you putting your passcode so I can read all your private texts?
We're on time, John.
What?
Yes, we're down to 2 minutes. So you need to make your last contribution.
Oh, that's a shame to know that we're down to the last 2 minutes.
Wow.
Okay, so in summation, I'm simply going to say that in my non-humble opinion, I feel that anything that is pushed upon the American public, whether they enjoy it or are entertained by it, if there is an underlying danger to your personal data being used by people that don't like you and that would like to see your country and society destroyed, my belief is that if there is a compatible system that's based in the United States, not by our enemies, that if it was me, I would be switching over to that and deleting something that is put in my face under the guise of something you can enjoy, entertainment, but can ultimately be destructive to our country. That's my point.
And my point is,
anyone that argues with that is stupid.
We live in a democratic country, and we have choices like we have for homes, for cars, for clothes, for food. I think the same should extend to the social media platforms that we would like to interact with. And personally, as a media content producer for over 12 years, I think TikTok is far superior to all of the platforms that I've engaged in. And I also am aware that all of those platforms can be hacked. And I can't prove it, but I think it was very popular news that a lot of us had our Facebook accounts hacked by the Russians. And it is rumored that Zuckerberg allowed it. I cannot prove it. Don't come for my jugular. And so my point is, what we need to do is learn how to secure all of these platforms so that we can continue to use the ones that benefit us and that we enjoy the most. I think we have too much government control already. And although we elect the government, not in all cases, I always respect whichever government is in power, although I may not agree with their policies.
So when Trump becomes president again, you're going to agree with?
That's the one time I'm not going to support him, because there's something inherently wrong with that gentleman. And on that note, we are going to say thank you for continuing to support us and to watch this. And John, do you have a?
Yeah, I'm sorry for Jenny's behavior on this podcast. She was really out of line on many points and many times very disrespectful towards me, bullying me. And again, that's going to be the topic of our next podcast, bullying. I'm hurt and I'm offended about the level of disrespect she showed to me. And I'm assuming that when we disconnect and before we leave the studio, I will not only receive a verbal apology, I'm also expecting a written apology, which I will read on the next podcast just to show that she realized that her behavior was totally out of line. And thank you for listening to How Can You Say That?
The podcast. You've been listening to How Can You Say That? The podcast where we are raw and authentic. And I'm sure you experienced some of that tonight. And thank you for listening. And we will be back with segment 15, bullying, soon. Bye.
Night.